If you become my disciples and listen to my words, these stones will serve you. Gospel of Thomas. Today, we are going to delve into the fascinating world of Jesus' mind during his time on earth. If you feel within you only conflicts, dissatisfaction, and suffering, I invite you to keep an open mind and relax as we explore an innovative teaching that will guide us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and the abundance that resides within our own essence. In our journey through existence, we find ourselves immersed in the complexity of living under the dominion of the ego. The ego, in its most basic form, is that internal voice that constantly tells us who we are and how we should act in the world. It is the part of our mind that clings to individual identity and often feeds on comparison, judgment, and the need for control. When we live under the influence of the ego, we see the world through a narrow and limited lens. We do not see with the eye of singularity but with the distorted filters of the ego, which separate us from direct experience and prevent us from connecting with the true essence of who we are and what surrounds us. The ego leads us to identify with our possessions, achievements, and social roles, instead of recognizing the deep interconnectedness we share with all living beings and the universe as a whole. It makes us see others as competitors or threats, rather than companions on the journey of life. When we allow the ego to rule our lives, we find ourselves trapped in an endless cycle of dissatisfaction, anxiety, and suffering. We cling to our beliefs and opinions fervently, unwilling to consider alternative perspectives or to question our own reality. Living under the dominion of the ego distances us from our true nature and prevents us from experiencing the fullness and harmony that are available to us in every moment. Recognizing and transcending the ego is a crucial step in our journey towards a wiser and more meaningful life. When you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. Gospel of Thomas. Imagine living in a way that goes beyond how you currently perceive life. Within each of us lies a unique potential, a spark of consciousness or divinity waiting to be developed and manifested in our lives. If we manage to bring forth this inner potential, if we cultivate and express what is within us, then we will find salvation, in the sense of achieving our fullness and purpose in life. If we ignore or suppress this inner spark, if we do not allow it to manifest in our actions and decisions, then we risk being consumed by what is lacking within us. In other words, if we do not cultivate and develop our true being, then we are leaving room for negativity, unfulfillment, and emptiness to take root in our being and destroy us from within. We only need to become aware of the teachings that Jesus left us, recognizing that through them we have everything we need to cultivate our soul and mind, allowing us to achieve everything we desire in life. Among the many lessons he left us, the wisdom that characterized his earthly life and the mind with which he traversed it stands out. Do you believe that wisdom is merely intellectual knowledge? Wisdom transcends the simple accumulation of information and facts. It goes beyond what can be learned in books or in the classroom. It is an internal capacity that allows us to see the world with a broader and deeper perspective. It implies the ability to discern between what is true and what is false, what is valuable and what is trivial. When we cultivate wisdom, we develop the ability to look beyond superficial appearances and understand the underlying truths that are present in our daily experiences. This means being able to see beyond the masks that people may wear and understand the motivations and emotions that drive their actions. Cultivating wisdom also involves applying this understanding in our daily decisions and actions. It means making decisions based on a deep understanding of the long-term consequences, rather than simply following the impulses of the moment. It also involves acting with compassion and empathy towards others, recognizing our interconnectedness with all forms of life. During his time on earth, Jesus lived with wisdom and in a state of non-duality, which means that he experienced reality without the division of the ego. Non-duality is the understanding that everything is interconnected and that there is no separation between the self and others, nor between good and evil. Jesus lived in harmony with this understanding, acting from a place of unconditional love and compassion towards all beings. The ego, that part of our mind that makes us feel separate and distinct from others, did not have dominant control over Jesus. He lived from a higher consciousness, where connection with God and unity were paramount. This allowed him to see beyond superficial appearances and understand the deeper truths of existence. But how do we truly embody the mind of Christ? How do we see through his eyes? How do we feel through his heart? How do we learn to respond to the world with the same integrity and healing love? We must understand that it is not about the right belief, it is about the right practice. Have the same mindset as Christ Jesus, Philippians 2 verse 5. Imagine for a moment what impact it would have on our lives if we could adopt the mind of Christ, if we could see the world through his eyes, feel through his heart, and respond with the same integrity and healing love that he demonstrated. To practice the mind of Christ, we need a radical shift in our perspective. It means setting aside judgment and criticism, and instead embracing understanding and empathy. It is seeing beyond superficial differences and recognizing the shared humanity in every person we encounter. To see through the eyes of Christ, we must open ours to the beauty and goodness that surrounds us, even in the least expected places. It is seeing the light amidst the darkness and hope amidst despair. To feel through his heart, we must allow ourselves to connect with others on a deeper level. It is opening our hearts to the suffering of others and responding with compassion and understanding rather than indifference. And finally, to respond to the world with integrity and healing love like Christ, we must commit to living our lives according to his teachings. It is acting with kindness, generosity, and forgiveness in every interaction, thus spreading the light of love in a world often dark and discouraging. Allow God to transform you inwardly by a complete change of your mind. Romans 12 verse 2. People come from different backgrounds and have different levels of spiritual development. Therefore, their beliefs may differ. However, the ultimate purpose of the Christian spiritual path is to allow God to transform our lives from within, completely renewing our way of thinking and being. It is a process of raising consciousness, ascending to higher spiritual levels, with the ultimate goal of attaining the mind of Jesus and reflecting his love and wisdom in our lives. Regardless of the religion you follow, this is the true spiritual meaning that seeks connection with the divine and inner transformation to reach the kingdom of heaven here on earth. Imagine Jesus as a guide, committed to leading us through an incredible transformation, through his living example in his time on earth. His goal is to lead us from being driven by our most basic instincts and egocentrism, towards a state of genuine love and compassion. He also invites us to leave behind a limited view of the world, full of judgments and divisions, to embrace a deeper and unifying understanding of everything around us. This was not only an innovative teaching in his time but remains equally revolutionary today. We just need to interpret and apply in our daily life what Jesus taught us. He challenges us to grow and live from a place of love and compassion, overcoming our limitations and embracing unity in every aspect of our existence.